Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Magically Cruising, the cruise podcast where we share our personal cruise tips and reviews to help you make the most out of your next sailing. My name's Kieran. I'm an independent travel agent specializing in all things cruise, Disney, and North America, and I'm joined by my fellow co-host.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I write about cruise and all things travel over at Mini Travellers.
Brilliant. And today, Sarah, we thought we'd have a bit of a conversation around kind of the hidden costs of cruising / kind of what is the real price of your cruise once you've booked it type of thing. Because we were kind of chatting, weren't we? And we do this quite a lot when we're talking about which cruise we're going to book next and who we're going to go with. And we're like, yeah, but you've got to also factor in your dining plan, your drinks package, your gratuities. And it's something that sometimes throws or catches a lot of customers out when I'm speaking to them about when they're planning their cruise, of just kind of which cruise lines have extra costs and do you have to pay for everything all the time. So we just thought we'd have a bit of a chat around that, isn't it, really, the hidden costs of cruising.
Yeah, because I think it's a bit mind-boggling. I mean, we're cruising with friends next year and it'll be their second cruise. And getting your head around what's included on a cruise, and because we've been doing it for so long, we just assume everybody knows. But actually, just, and it's like the stuff you've got to do on your first day and the prep you've got to do before. And there's so much to think about that actually it's a conversation, definitely.
Yeah, well, I'm having the very same conversation with my husband because we're going on Disney next week. If I've not mentioned that once or twice this episode, this podcast.
Do you know, I didn't know.
But I just keep saying to her, but so at the moment, my company card is linked to the account type of thing. But obviously, there's tax implications of that type of thing. And obviously, I need to do some admin if we buy too much. But I was like, we need to be aware of just how much we're going to be spending on this cruise with just daily coffees, with alcohol purchases, any extra classes, excursions, and that's obviously like leisure stuff. That's stuff that you do once you're on board. That's not including like pre-cruise planning packages and things like that as well. So I'm a little bit apprehensive knowing of how easy it is to rack up a big expensive onboard bill. And this is why to some extent I prefer certain cruise lines where you can prepay. So yes, you do get stung up front, but at least when you're on board then you're not panicking about like every time you swipe your key card, you're like, oh no, that's another $3-4 plus tax plus gratuity type of thing. So I can't decide what I prefer, and this is why it's going to be quite interesting to go on Disney where there is very few kind of pre-cruise packages to see which I prefer, of kind of seeing it as a total each week because it's been a while since I've had that, or whether or not I miss the days of knowing I've got stung for a big bill pre-cruise, but at least I know it's paid for.
Do you know, it's interesting is because one of my friends that I've spent the weekend with, and we've cruised with their family last year, we're cruising from next year, so they've just been on holiday with family to a resort, and their older daughter, on the last cruise, she was swiping when she wanted a smoothie, and because you can't you? And she said she's racked up a right bill on this holiday because she's just going to the bar and swiping for smoothies. And she said, we have to pay for them. She was like, because, and then I think that's the thing with all this stuff, and it does all add up. And actually, I've got a video, I'll link them below, on how much I spent on my Celebrity and last Royal Caribbean cruise. Yeah. And it's just my face chatting, but I'm going through everything we spent. And I shocked myself, I'll be honest. That £2,000 cruise wasn't £2,000.
No, do you get what I mean?
But it takes the stress out of it, because when you step on that ship, if you've done all of that, you're not thinking, what am I going to spend? So you might have a lot of upfront costs, but do you save money in the long run? I don't know, but you don't think about it.
No, and I think the cruise industry to some extent prize on that mentality as well, because obviously I've booked my Legends of the Seas cruise next year, and I probably get daily notifications from Royal Caribbean about the current sale that's on for onboard pre-cruise planning. There is no sale because the sale is the same and it is always on. They just change a % or two. But it's just this constant fear of missing out type of thing, that if you don't add on the drinks package now at 35% off, you're going to miss out and you're going to pay more when you're on board. But there is some sort of argument of like, well, if I actually paid as I go, would I spend that much? And I know, there are various kind of drinks calculators you can do, and you can kind of do some rough maths yourself, but you don't know until you're on board how much you're going to drink.
Yeah. And do you know what? We did this weekend because I've booked the package. And the reason that I booked it was because I drink so much. I mean, I've said this, but I drink a lot of water. I mean, honestly, our cabin steward on Allure of the Seas must have thought I was a psycho, because every time I come in the cabin, it was like a big pile of water things. But I drink so much. I mean, I've got one by me all the time. I drink so much. So I want to make sure that I've got that in, and that's $3 a pop straight away.
Yep.
I like a mimosa at breakfast on holiday. Not every day,
Yeah.
would be nice, but drink a lot of coffee. So when you start, so we were trying to work out hers, and I was saying, well, mimosa at breakfast. And her husband's like, you don't need a mimosa at breakfast. Yeah, we're like, yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Put that on the list. And we were working it out. And when you actually work it out, and do you know my not downfall, but I like a glass of wine with my lunch. It's when I get to Schooner Bar after dinner, because when I've got a Schooner, them lavender daiquiris and chocolate martinis, it's like, yes, please, another one. They're going quick. And I never get drunk. You know, I'm not a person that gets drunk on holiday.
Yeah.
I pace myself. But it adds up.
Well, I was sat in Schooner yesterday because I was on a ship visit yesterday on Independence, and they gave us a drinks voucher, 1 drink. And literally the bar guy was just trying to palm me off with more drinks, and I hadn't even finished my drink. And he was like, do you want another one? I was like, I have no room to charge this drink to, but if you want to give me another one, I will happily drink it, type of thing. Because their drinks are very good, and I was enjoying it. I had a toasted marshmallow old-fashioned, and it was stunning. Absolutely stunning. And after that one, I was sat there in the chair going like, I am ready to stay on this ship now. I do not want to get off. It was so great to be sat in that bar.
That is my problem with ship days. You got to get off.
Yeah.
I hate it.
Yeah.
Hate it. Because when I get on, I'm staying on. But lavender daiquiri. And nobody makes them like Royal Caribbean. Nobody makes them like Royal Caribbean.
It's the one thing I will say, right? Because Phil hasn't sailed with Royal yet, and I keep saying to him about the drinks package, and he's got this mentality of kind of like how Celebrity do it. When you take all included with Celebrity, it's drinks up to 11, and then if you want to go above that, you've got to pay for the premium drinks package or whatever they call it. Same with Princess. If you book the plus, you've got to pay over the, I think it's like $11, I think maybe, or 15, I can't remember now, but you pay the difference. So he thinks Royal's the same, and when I keep saying to him like, no, Royal is premium drinks all the time. Yeah. It's all premium cocktails. It's all signature cocktails as well. So it's not like you're getting a generic, pina colada. You're getting a Royal spin on a pina colada with, premium spirits and unusual liquors. And I love that sense of exploration when you open up the menu and it's like something you've maybe not seen before, or it's a modern spin on a classic. I love the fact they do that. And that's why I love Virgin's drinking as well, because Virgin do the same thing.
Is there a mason jar on Legend of the Seas?
If there is, they haven't announced it yet.
Oh, because, you wait till the cocktail's in there. That maple bacon syrup.
So I'm so excited.
We've digressed already. Well, it is actually part of it, isn't it? Because it's when you go into a hotel, you go to the bar, you get a drink, you're going to pay to it, you're going to charge it to your room. And with a cruise, you can still do that, but you've also got the option of buying a package.
Yes.
And I think that, that a lot of the conversations around whether it's a dining package, a drinks package, a Wi-Fi package, all these things are extra. And what you've got to work out is that worth it to you?
100%. And this keeps coming into it. It's like, what do you value? And somebody was saying to me, because I was on about our Legend cruise now next year, and I was going through the pre-cruise planner the other day going like, Jesus, my pre-cruise planner is more expensive than what I paid for my voyage. But that's because the things I'm choosing to add on, things like the unlimited dining package, because it'll be our first time sailing with Royal on a proper voyage. So I'm like, I want to try all the speciality. I've never had the chance to. And, to be able to then do the drinks package, to add on gratuities, Wi-Fi, because I will be working when I'm on board. So yes, that is a business expense, but, you need Wi-Fi for it. And then it was like excursions we were looking at, because we've made the mistake before when sailing Europe to not take out an excursion when we're venturing beyond 30 minutes from the port. And I was like, this is adding up quite a lot, and we're spending a lot of money already before we get on board. And that cruise that we got for it, it's not a great deal because the Legend is expensive, there's no denying that, but it was a good price when it launched. That's gone up quite a lot already, type of thing. And it's just this, it's not a hidden cost. It's the cost that you don't see when it's not the ticket price you see. But I don't need all that stuff either. I could just not do any of that stuff. I just want to do it.
Do you actually need the all-included dining, or could you not do the free night? Because,
do you know what I mean?
I wouldn't say that it's worth using Playmakers. And this is a tip for anybody that's looking at dining packages. I wouldn't. Playmakers, I'd pay because it's cheaper. If you're going to do Johnny Rockets, I'd do the same. So I'd use your free dining packages for your main restaurants, whatever's on there. And then you've got to really, if you say you have 2 formal nights on a 7-night cruise, they still do lobster night in the main dining room 2 nights a week. Yeah. And you get lobster and steak. So
this is like FOMO they're preying on, basically. And because of the Phil being gluten-free especially, he's just always had better experiences in specialty dining. So that's whereby we're kind of like, oh, well, why not? And we do this whole thing of like, you never know when you'll do it again. And we're like, this is our third cruise next year.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we'll be doing this again. We don't have to max this one out. So we'll see. But it's just one of those costs that just keeps coming up, of that fear of racking up a big bill, of the unknown versus, well, at least it's a known cost. I can budget for that type of thing. But I was speaking to a colleague yesterday who just come off Norwegian, and she prepaid for the water package, and her daughter picked the package, and they booked like 48 bottles of water, thinking they were going to drink like 48 bottles of water. She said, like, we drank 10. We left like 30 bottles of water in the cabin. So there was no way on a fly cruise I was going to fly 30 bottles of water home. But that's the other downside to it, the negative side of if you do pre-add something and you don't actually then get use out of it, you're like, oh, I definitely have not got value for money on that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think with the dining, as someone that always uses it, I think it's, if you're going to do lunch and dinner you can only do lunch and dinner on a sea day, can't you? And on a port day, you can only do dinner with your unlimited dining package, I'm sure.
I can probably log in and check, but I did get to like the 4th paragraph of the terms and conditions of the dining package and kind of tuned out, and I was like, I know I can do it. So I didn't read the ins and outs of it. But let me have a little log in and see if I can find it.
So it might be worth you only doing the 3 day or 5. They sometimes do a 5, don't they?
That's what we were leaning towards, at the very least, of getting that. But I keep going back and forth on, am I maximizing this cruise, and am I doing everything, or am I doing the bare minimum to have a nice time? And it's mainly because I want to try it. And they haven't announced all the specialty anyway, so I don't know exactly what's coming.
Let's have a look. Does it say what's on yet?
It's not fully announced. I know that much, at least, anyway. Let's have a look now. So I think I'm in my voyage. I'm either on mine or the one before it. I can never remember the exact date. But for dining, so for anybody who's wondering, it's around about October time. It's one of the October sailings on Legend of the Seas in the Mediterranean. So the unlimited dining package is £41 per guest per day, or the 3-night package is a one-off price of £134 for the package, basically, and that gives you 3 nights. And 3 nights then basically. And this is whereby I was kind of like trying to play 4D chess, because not everything's announced, so I don't know what's applicable. But basically, you get one in Izumi Hibachi. No, I lie. There's surcharges. There's surcharges.
Yeah, but that's only $15, I think.
Yeah.
Which is worth
Royal
paying.
Railway, though, is 50. Chef's Table is 50. The Omakaze in Izumi is 50. And Empire Supper Club, which is what I do want to do, is 130 surcharge. But it seems a bit pointless anyway to take out the specialty dining package and then use it towards supper club. So I don't know.
So what restaurants are available then? So I'm assuming Giovanni's.
Screen. Would guess is going to be Giovanni's Chopped. I know Izumi's on there because you've got Izumi in the park, so there will be an Izumi's, but I think that's all that's been announced yet. I don't know if Wonderland's making its way over. I don't think Wonderland's on Icon, is it?
I think Wonderland's seen its day, hasn't it? I think it was brilliant at the time. We were debating this for our next cruise. Do we book Wonderland? And we're like, no, we've done it. It's really nice, but we've done it. And I think when you've got places like the Mason Jar, and they're just so much better.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not necessarily the food. The concepts are evolving, and I like that. I like the evolving concept. And there's lots of new stuff coming out. That's how our companies evolve, isn't it? Bringing in the new.
So yeah, at the moment, the only ones that are announced, at least anyway, unless I haven't got the deck plan to go through it with a tooth comb, but Izumi, Hibachi, and Sushi's on there. Surfside Bites, which I think Surfside's free anyway, and Giovanni's is announced. And then Base Camp, which is free, I believe, because I stand by, I think that's by the pool deck off the top of my head. So I don't think they've announced everything yet, because they're keeping quite a lot secret, and I think they've obviously, now that Star of the Seas' launch, she had some changes, but they've alluded to Legend will have more changes because she's the 3rd in the series now rather than the 2nd. So we shall see. But I think we're going to get it. I think whether we get the 3 or the unlimited, I don't know. I think, like gluttons that we are for food, we're leaning towards the unlimited one, but reality may kick in and go, by the time you have the drinks, the Wi-Fi, gratuities that we still haven't included yet, probably going to be better off to just go with the 3.
So is it true, because I keep reading stuff, you never know if it's clickbait or not, whether Royal Caribbean used to allow somebody to book the drinks package, and if their partner didn't drink, that was all right. Is that still the case? Or have they stopped it?
As far as I know, they've stopped it. now.
Right.
So now it's either or, you have to or not have it. I do know the reason why is not officially anyway, but we all know it's just down to potential abuse at the end of the day. So they're trying to just reduce that chance of potential abuse. But yeah, even if you've got now a medical reason or not to, their answer is, well, don't take the drinks package out, then pay as you go.
Yeah, I once saw a couple on Celebrity do that,
Well, cheat on the drinks package.
Yeah, so they were ordering one then ordering another. I just wouldn't, I wouldn't have the energy, and we'd probably drink too much anyway to do that. But if you don't drink, there should be they should do like a mini package, shouldn't they? Of so many. In fact, I did see this. Somebody put in a group the other day. It was the not the drinks package, the non-alcoholic drinks package plus 5 drinks.
Well, and I was in plus 5 alcoholic drinks.
Yeah, it was somebody shared it in a Facebook group, screenshot.
Really? I know. So what they do, and like all brands do this, but I think they're kind of testing things to see if what works. And I know revenue management is the department that looks after all this stuff. Basically, is how much money they make pre-cruise, post-cruise. They do test things sometimes. I know they have like secret packages up their sleeves to offer if bookings are low or if people aren't taking out the drinks package. They can see if people are interested, type of thing. And quite possibly this could be a test. It could be just revenue's bad, so let's see if people notice it. It is always worth keeping an eye with Royal and Celebrity definitely on your pre-cruise planner, because offers change constantly. I joked about there's always a sale on. There is always a sale on, but I just mean you never know. They may put a secret like limited time package on, or they could test something and put like 50 of a very limited package on it. It has been known. I've seen people do it in the past where they've been offered something that only a handful of people have seen.
It's definitely worth watching the sales as well, because if you're thinking that you might want the drinks package, so on our last cruise, I cancelled it 3 times and rebooked it, and you can do that. And I think the thing is, when it's on you, like I book everything on one of my cards, so it takes a while to come back, but then you've got 30 days to pay the next lot anyway, so it doesn't matter. And I think I ended up saving £200 on the drinks package. You just got to check it. And check it every couple of days, and if it goes down, cancel, rebook.
Yeah, they don't tell us anything. The only time they tell us is if it's a national campaign. So I know, like during the post-COVID period, it was a national campaign, and the drinks package was £45 per person per day. So we were told about that, and at that point, it was the only time we could add a drinks package on a booking. But because it is controlled so heavily by revenue management, and they add testing and they do spot sales here, there, and everywhere, they do not let us do it at all. I can log in. I know how to now log in and see every single sailing's cruise planner, but I can't physically do anything with that information other than just go, currently this offer is this much.
But the thing is as well, because it's not consistent, because my friend hasn't booked her drinks package, I know mine is $5 dearer per person per day. And we sat last week and it was showing on mine at 69. Now I paid 54. And she had it at 65.
Really?
So that was 4. And then this morning, mine was 59. So I messaged her and said, if you're going to book it today, because I'm imagining yours will be 54. And it was. So
really?
I mean, what? And that's the same day, the same time, the same cruise.
Yep.
But we've got different rates, and it's only a second cruise. I don't know. God knows how many.
Actually, in our Legend of the Seas group, somebody said that they had a different price than I had, and theirs was cheaper than mine as well. And I was like, oh, well, whatever. I'm not adding on anyway because I've got the money to add it on right now. We will literally be a lastminute.com offer when I add it on. But yeah, I did see that and thought like they must do that then to different people. I don't know whether it's based on whether you are more likely to or less likely to add on a drinks package. I couldn't tell you, but there's definitely something science going on behind it anyway.
Well, they know that I'm a consumer, don't they? And I'm going to book everything.
We're not giving you an offer because we know you're going to have it at some point. So what's the point?
That's it. Mine's booked, done. But with the celebrities, well, anybody with celebrity cruises upgrading your drinks package, I think I upgraded us for $7 a day each. It was really cheap. And again, just kept checking it. And that's the thing, if you've never cruised before or if you're not used to getting the drinks packages, if you keep an eye on those prices, and I do it while I'm eating my breakfast, I just go in and check. It takes a couple of minutes, which is why I messaged you the other day thinking the cruise had been moved because there was nothing in the app. Because every morning I just check, and that's how I keep on top of those offers and save that little bit of money. And I know it's only a bit to save, but because my friends heard soft drinks packages went down, I went, change them. And she was like, it's $2 a day. And I was like, that's a cocktail. That's a cocktail.
Yeah, do you get what I mean? Yeah.
It all adds up.
Royal's a bit of a unique anomaly because they do this. I don't think many other cruise lines do. I'm pretty sure like Princess is a set fee. It's now done by class of ship, so I know the Sphere class is slightly higher if you want to upgrade to Premier because they have more dining options. So it doesn't affect Princess so much. I don't know
No.
every single Carnival brand. I don't sell many of them, but same with Virgin in general. Virgin do random flash sales or left, right, and centre, but in general, like bar tabs, Wi-Fi packages, they're consistent across the fleet. That's the fleet's price. Is a Royal thing whereby they do this thing with the pre-cruise planner whereby it is based on per sailing per person. So Royal and Celebrity, you do have to be a little bit aware of what's going on. So don't think every cruise line's like this.
I think it's better to be consistent, to be quite honest. I find it like when you got two cruises and in the dashboard, they're both different prices.
Yeah.
It's just, and then somebody else is getting it $10 cheaper. I don't know where the fairness is in that. Where at least with Princess, you know what you're getting, you know how much you're paying, and you know the person next to you's paid the same.
And this comes back to this whole like panic of knowing how much your cruise is going to be up front, and that's that downside to that. You don't really know how much your cruise is going to be because you can't forecast the drinks package. You can always ballpark it, and you know it's going to be around about £65 to £70 per person per day, but you don't know that as a fact because they could just say, well, this one's never going on its own, going to be 20% type of thing. So it is a tough one to know for sure. I think let's backtrack a little bit then and kind of go like, what are the things that no matter which brand, because again there's always anomalies, but on the whole, because like what I get at is gratuities basically I want to talk about, because gratuities is one of those extras that for most cruise lines, pretty much the non-British cruise lines, isn't included in your cruise fare and you normally have to add it on. So I guess it's just a talk around that basically of like which cruise lines maybe do include it off the top of my head, but also how do we feel and what are our opinions on kind of gratuities and how we personally approach gratuities, because like we do them very differently. I know that as a fact.
It's very hard, isn't it? Because I always paid up front.
Yeah.
And I saw something recently, and but the thing is, you don't know what's true and what isn't anymore, do you?
Yeah.
That said that basically it was used to substitute the staff, and the staff didn't get the tip. So what we did on our last cruise was we took them off, but we tip a lot. We tip more than what we would tip anyway. So we tip a couple of $100 over a week. Sorry. So we're always, everybody we deal with, we tip. And I don't know what's right and what's wrong anymore, but I think if somebody's giving me good service, I will tip them. We always tipped on top anyway, but we tip more now as we go along because I'm conscious that I've taken them off.
I guess, so I want to circle back to something later on, I guess, but do you feel like then because you tip in person and you physically hand over a tip, do you feel you get better service now as well?
I feel like the bar staff, I don't know, because you can't fault. I don't think I've been on a cruise, apart from one, which I won't mention, where I didn't get good service. I think you always get good service. I just think they get to know you when you tip them more.
Yeah. They make a mental note to notice you a bit more than they would, but you don't get bad service for not in-person tipping. I don't think so anyway.
No. I absolutely don't think that. And I think, like, if, I don't know, Playmakers, the Pesky Parrot, and they're just brilliant and they deal with everybody the same. I really believe that. But then they just get to know you more, and it becomes more of a personal transaction maybe when you tip, because like, I trained as a hairdresser, and the clients that tip you. You do. Yeah. I'm not going to treat them better, though, and give them a better haircut.
Yeah, no, exactly. Do you get me? The core experience. I think, so for those people listening, we are British cruisers and we do have a big British following, but we have an American following as well. So it's the Americans who find it fascinating to talk about type of thing because they don't understand why the UK doesn't have a tipping culture. And we don't in the UK. We don't tip. Pretty much it's like if you buy a drink you may round up the bill, we call it, is a bit of a joke type of thing. So if like a meal comes to, I don't know, £33, people may leave the rest of the bill, the remaining change type of thing. Same with drinks, you'll leave the change type of thing. It's rare that we tip 20% unheard of in the UK, let alone 5%. So for Brits, they do struggle with the concept of it. And it's something that I'm going to be facing next week over on Disney, because Disney has the most unique tipping culture on board a cruise line ever, where they hand out little envelopes on your last night, basically, for you to physically put your tips into. But then also the crew wait in certain locations for you to hand your envelopes to the person. Now, if you auto-grat, which we always do, I always auto-grat if it's an option, really grat in person, just because it's an awkward thing if you're not used to doing it, for Brits at least anyway. But Disney's a bit weird like that. But they put a little card in there saying what the gratuities are and how much each person's going to get. But as you say, some cruise lines, there's theories that that money doesn't actually make it to that person in the end because it goes into a pot of money and is distributed out regardless of whether or not you personally leave your autograts on or whether or not it's done across like the fleet, if that makes sense. The proportion of sailors that do and don't put their autograts on, everyone gets a share of that is a theory I've heard from some of the cruise lines as well.
I know, it's a really... I mean, that envelope thing, that was how it was when we first started cruising with Princess and Cunard. That's the old way, isn't it? And then I think the American cruise line started bringing in that... But then people say that they've used that to substitute. I really don't know the definitive answer.
No.
But one of my sons, or one of our sons, is a chef. And I hate the fact that I might be taking a tip away from a chef, but then I don't know if he's going to get it anyway. And that's... I just wish we knew the truth of what it was. And I just feel like there's a lot of gaslighting going on.
It gets heated, doesn't it, in Facebook groups? And I seen one on TikTok the other day that actually really irritated me. It was a Brit on Carnival, and she was like filming the line basically. And I don't know whether or not everyone was taking grats off, but she definitely was. And she made a point of it saying like, and she was positioning it as a bit of a cruise hack to save money on your cruise. Like, make sure you go down and take your grats off. And we're Brits, we don't tip. And a lot of people in the comments like, oh yeah, I do that straight away. And I'm like, whatever your thoughts are on it, if you opt into sailing an American cruise line, that is the culture of that cruise line at the end of the day. So if you choose not to autograt, I think at the least you should be tipping, the people who you at least have immediate contact with, like, your waiter on your dining table and your cabin host at the least, because those guys work hard to look after you type of thing. And I feel awful thinking that that's not been reciprocated like that. Thank you to them, whether you tip in person or whether you autograt, I think is a bit unkind of you to go on an American cruise line and not reciprocate in that culture.
Do you know what? Because obviously this time was the first time I've done it. You know that I've always left them on. But we've always tipped extra anyway as well. And so this time, I felt like a criminal doing it. And I went, but I took $200 to change up at the same time and said, can you please change this up for tipping? And they were really good and changed it all up and gave me loads of change. So that they knew that, because I absolutely believe you should tip. Yes. I don't do it. I didn't do it for that reason. I just did it because I thought, well, I'm giving my cabin steward $50 as well. So I'll just give him a bit more now.
Yeah.
But and this is the thing. Do they get to keep the cash? Do they have to hand it in? I mean, I know in Playmakers they put it in a pot and they'll share it. I just don't know. It's like, it's a really difficult, contentious conversation.
My take on it is, if you find it uncomfortable, like I do, I find it really uncomfortable to tip in person, then do the auto gratuity at the end of the day. You're looking like, and this argument, if you can't justify $200 in auto gratuities for your 7-night cruise, but you've paid $3-4 to get on the ship, probably, it's the whole thing. And if you can't justify that cost, then why are you justifying the $4 on the cruise? And then if you're wondering, the cruise lines that don't, at least in the UK, Virgin Voyages around the world, they include it. And again, I got so used to not thinking about it because it's included. There's no tipping culture on board. People still do tip, but it's not required. The crew are paid a really good salary and they're very vocal about the fact they paid a good salary on board Virgin. So no tipping culture. Love Virgin. That's one of the reasons why as well of many. But P&O as well, the British Cruise Line, P&O Cruises, no tipping involved in P&O Cruises either, because as a British cruise line, they're aware of that. So that's not included. And then MSC does have a tipping culture. However, if you book in the UK, at least anyway, MSC are aware that Brits don't tip. So it is pre-factored into your price when you book with P&O. You don't, with MSC, you don't see it as a separate item. Just any booking made in the UK, paid in British pounds, it's automatically included that your gratuities have been covered off as part of your cruise fare. They're the only ones I'm aware of where it's included in the fare, at least anyway. All the others is an added extra as far as I'm aware.
Do you know what I'd like to do is speak to somebody that's ex-cabin crew about it, ex-crew, because I'd never, ever in a million years put a member of staff in the position of asking them the question, because it's just not fair.
Yeah.
And like, we met some lovely ones on my last one, but I just couldn't put them in that position because it's just awful. But we always tip. But my conscience is clear because I know that I always tip over and above.
And you never know, though, how much of it is them being polite as well, but because, like, they may not want to get into trouble for bad-mouthing the cruise line where they're on board type of thing. What I've learned with crew is they will bad-mouth the last cruise line they were on. So if they change ships, they will freely tell you, yeah, I like it here. Virgin is a prime example because we get told all the time by crew on Virgin how bad other cruise lines are because of how good Virgin is type of thing. So they always tell us, like, oh, yeah, when I was working for another cruise line, we had to pay for this and we don't have to on here and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's how I've picked up a lot of this stuff where I know a little bit is because I've heard them say, like, this is why I love working for Virgin. But they'll never say on this particular cruise line, this is what actually happens.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? And they work so hard. They do work. I mean, there was something with, it was on social recently and one of us shared a pizza video. And we got so much hate of people going, that man probably doesn't want to work at 10 o'clock at night. And
I saw that. It's like, he's open.
He applied for the job. He went to a job interview and people message all the time. We get messages, how can I apply for a cruise ship job? Right. And I've started sending them a link of where to go.
Yeah,
You know, at the end of the day, they've asked me a question. I at least deserve the courtesy of answering what I know. But yeah, it's a really funny one, isn't it? It's and one that divides people and
100%. Yeah, that's why I thought it'd be interesting. But it is a hidden cost that you need to be aware of, whether it's included on the brands that do it or don't, type of thing. And this is one of those things of whatever your opinion on. My particular stance is you should do some form of tipping, whatever type of thing. But it is an extra cost you do need to factor in, and that's why I think you should factor it in because it is a bit of a so-called hidden cost. It's not hidden, but it's not talked about until after you've booked. So I always make sure up front, if a cruise line has a tipping culture, there's a section in my CRM system that says what to expect with tipping culture on board Disney, Royal Celebrity, the three I sell the most, just so people are at least aware of it. And I always say it's discretionary, but we really do recommend you do as a thank you, whether you tip in person or not, just because you should. But it's something you probably need to be aware of, and it's probably something that is talked about a lot, but people don't like talking about it.
Do you know that we went on a cruise with a big group of friends, all amazing, all very generous people. We all left grats on. And I was tipping. They were like, we're not doing that. We've tipped. We're not doing it. But then by day 3, one of them was like, have you got some dollars I can borrow? I'll give you back tonight. Because actually they realised how much the crew appreciate when you show that you're grateful to them. And you know what? Yeah. They're not just a member of staff. They're not there just to serve you. They're doing their job and you're grateful for them to do your job. I know they're paid for it, but do you know what? Thank you. And as a hairdresser, I appreciate that because when somebody used to give me a tip, I used to really appreciate it.
Yeah. Do you know what my tips are? It's small things. Like, so we don't get them in the travel industry as travel agents, but sometimes, like, if something's happened with a customer booking and they get, like, a small refund, some customers are like, oh, just keep it as a tip. I had one customer who had, like, a £10 refund or something, and he was like, just keep it as a tip. And I was like, oh, my God, thank you.
Yeah. I sent you sweets the other week. That was a tip.
You did send me sweets. That was my tip, so thank you. They're all gone. Literally, those sweets didn't make it past the end of the week. Like, literally, I was on a sugar high for the whole week and wondered why I wasn't sleeping.
Just like, they are Maury show, aren't they? But I just think it's nice to say thank you to people and show that you're appreciated because we don't do it enough as Brits, I don't think. I mean, but when we go for a meal in the UK, I would always do work on the same tipping thing of, you know, I will give a good tip with a meal if it's been good service. Not if it's not been bad.
I literally was having a conversation. I've stopped tipping on Uber because I always used to tip on Uber and I used to always tip 10-15% type of thing. And then I Googled it and I was like, do Brits tip on Uber? Apparently, no. Nobody tips on Uber in the UK. And I'm
we always tip on Uber.
I know. I always have. Apparently it's rare and I was always auto tipping, and then literally one of my friends told me off for tipping on Uber because apparently nobody tips apart from like me and a handful of people. But I think it's people like us who've been in America where it is expected. And that's where I'm used to tipping on Uber because 9 times out of 10 until we only went down to one car, I'd never used her in the UK. Uber was always something I used in America. So I just got into the habit of auto tipping, and generally somebody told me off for tipping and I was like, what?
I think I've always tipped taxi drivers actually as well. I've always done that. But I didn't tip the last Uber driver because I thought he was going to kill me, if I'm honest. Couldn't wait to get out of the car. I should have actually put feedback in because he was I screamed twice.
Really?
I shouted Jesus Christ once. It was horrendous. I felt really frightened.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's the only bad experience I've ever had with them, but it's put me off booking another one.
I feel bad in hindsight now for now better understanding American tipping culture for my first 10 years of Disney holidays, because I'd never tipped the first couple of times we went to Disney. It was so bad. Like, it was only really for meals because I thought that's the only time you do, but not realizing you tip your room attendant, you tip guest services, bell services, never tipped for anything. And now I feel really bad and guilty in hindsight all these years later. I'm like, there's loads of people probably who think like, oh, he's another Brit coming over here and hasn't got a clue and isn't tipping. I'm like, yeah, it's bad.
And obviously you don't get breakfast in your cabin, do you? That's like another thing we always tip for.
Well, so this is why it's an interesting topic in my head, because I need to get cash out for Disney because I'm adamant we're using room service, and we didn't tip the 2 times we did Disney last time because I didn't think you had to. It's only now that I'm a bit older and the internet's a lot more available that I'm like, oh, actually, I didn't realize that's awkward. No wonder the guy was the way I said jokingly say yesterday. I was like, no wonder our food service took ages to come. Like, whereas then they don't tip, like they can wait.
It's like on Home Alone, isn't it, where it gives him chewing gum.
Literally, like, so I was like, right, must withdraw some dollars to tip on Disney because I'm sure we would do a room service multiple times.
Yeah, well, every day we have room service for breakfast because I hate the buffet at breakfast. So I just want to sit on my balcony and drink coffee and eat some fruit and a yogurt, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Well, we've got training at 9 a.m. and I can't see me being awake enough at before 9 a.m. to be heading down to Cabanas and getting the foraging for the buffet and then getting to training.
Every day?
I think 2 days, maybe 3. I can't remember exactly the schedule, but definitely the first 2 days we've got 9 a.m. training. And trust me, on a cruise, if I'm out of bed before 9 o'clock, it's a mystery. So I'm already bracing myself. I think I'm going to be, whether Phil gets up for his gluten-free breakfast, but I'm getting my room service breakfast anyway. Because it's free on Disney, so I'm going to use it.
Write gluten-free on your breakfast, because I used to, on Allure, they was doing me gluten-free toast. And it doesn't say it on the menu, but I just wrote gluten-free toast,
really?
Please. And they always brought it, yeah. But then, do you know another thing? Like, we will get up once and go to the main restaurant to have Eggs Benedict.
Yeah.
Or Salmon Royale or something. We'll do that once or twice. But I think it stops me overeating as well, because I know that I'm going to get yoghurt, fruit, and that's all I need. That's all I eat at home. Yeah. So it stops me overindulging and getting a tray full of sausages and all sorts of other stuff. So
your mountain of buffet breakfast.
Yeah, like scrambled egg. But,
I need 7 sausages today.
Yeah, and salmon, and smoked salmon with it. Yeah.
And a bowl of cereal. So I would at home. I would have cereal at home as well.
So
no, just a juice though. Just a juice. No coffee this morning.
The only thing is, when you're cabin, you don't get mimosa, obviously. I mean, yeah, I suppose you could order a mimosa in your cabin, couldn't you? But I have coffee. But so the other thing is Wi-Fi, because obviously, I mean, and this is NCL is a really good one for this, or a good, bad, whatever you want to call it. But I love the NCL free at sea package, and we're currently looking at booking an NCL cruise, and I loved it last time, where you got your package. You get your 2 speciality dining, which I think is brilliant. Yeah. And then it says free Wi-Fi, but that is not free Wi-Fi. It's 60 minutes.
It is. 60 it is the biggest tease ever, isn't it? You're like, oh, I got my Wi-Fi included. And you're like,
yeah, then you get on and you're minutes. Like, and if you leave it on, they go. That's it. You've lost it, mate. So then you have to go and plead stupidity to the desk, and they take pity on you and give you back. So we ended up just booking it. But yeah, Wi-Fi is a big one that we both need because we work.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, we're quite lucky if we're hosted by a cruise line, they will give us Wi-Fi. So any fam trips, we get Wi-Fi paid for. Again, I keep banging on about reasons why we book Virgin, but every time we look at other cruise lines, right, we go through the list of things we're going to have to pay for post-cruise. And this is why, for us, Virgin wins out so often, because Wi-Fi is included. Now, we're lucky we're in the loyalty scheme, so we get given premium Wi-Fi now. But even in general, you get free Wi-Fi. So if you're somebody who just needs like WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger and things like that, then that's included as standard. It used to be kind of a decent speed, but now that they're sailing a bit more, they've learned how to actually limit you. I think that's more what it is. Yeah. Somebody found the settings control and they now know how to limit people. So the premium Wi-Fi is an extra fee if you want to go on and do like more robust things. And then there is a top tier one for streaming and things like that. So we get given the middle tier, basically, which they call premium. So it's a big reason why, because again, the fact that we have to be available because of people traveling and emergency contact, we have to be available. We have to factor in for us the cost of the internet on every cruise we do, and on some cruise lines that adds up a lot.
It does, yeah. And I think it's, it always costs us a couple of $100. But for Chris, he always has to be available for work, I work. So it's just a no-brainer that you have to have it. And it's a business expense, isn't it? But yeah, it's something that you've got to factor in. But then some people go and some people are in a position where they can go and shut off from the world. And that's brilliant if you can do that.
Yeah.
And if you can, but I can't.
I missed it. Don't get me wrong. Our first Disney cruise, when I realised, there's no Wi-Fi. And it was back in the days where Wi-Fi was per minute on Disney as well, and that was awful. And I did pay for Wi-Fi. I think I paid for 90 minutes for the 7-night voyage. And I've never been so aggressive with switching my Wi-Fi off in my life type of thing. It was literally going in 5 minutes, turn it off, making sure all my emails downloaded so I could check what was going on. I lost where I was going with that. Sorry. But yeah, I remember the early days anyway where Wi-Fi was very expensive. It's still expensive, but at least now it is unlimited. You can leave your device on, you can stay connected. But I missed the fact that you did switch off. It was weird at first. Sorry, that was where I was getting to with this. It was weird at first to kind of go like, I'm not connected to the world. Like, people don't know what I'm eating and drinking. Like, what's happening? So that was weird. But by about day 2 of it happening, I was like, actually, it's quite liberating. It's quite liberating not having to stress about and not seeing the news and not seeing, who's having a fight with who in what Facebook group type of thing. So now I do lament a little bit that I am so connected when I'm away on holiday, because I'm constantly going like, oh, this person said this in this group and they're wrong. And I kind of miss switching off.
It is nice to, I consciously, and my next cruise, I think I'm not even doing social. I think I've decided I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
I am going to get my content for the site, the website. I'm going to, do the filming for YouTube, but I'm going to take it back a step, because I think sometimes you can work too hard, and we need to learn to relax and take it back a level. And I think you're the same, because you don't stop.
No, I literally, before I go bed, I sit in bed doing my Instagram stories before bed. And part of it is a bit of a decompressing the day. But then I do sit back and think, like, why am I pressuring myself that I have to? Like, if there's one night where I'm quite tired or drunk, and I'm doing drunk stories type of thing, again, a bit sassy.
Yeah, I've seen those.
My personality comes out a bit too much on the business page. I do sit there sometimes and think, like, why am I doing this? Like, I don't have to do this right now. I could leave it. Laura, Cruise Lifestyle, she told me she doesn't do it while she's on the cruise. She does it the following week. So she waits until she's off, and then she'll do it, but she'll do it for the week while she's off the cruise type of thing, which is one option. I've started to, it's got a bit later as I'm starting to relax a bit more and we're getting busier. It kind of staggers a bit more. I don't do it day by day. It kind of becomes every 3 days. I update the stories and my posts, just because by the time I get off the ship, I'm probably about midway through my cruise, just because there's so much going on now.
Yeah, and you've got to be present for yourself, for your partner, for your family, for the kids, whoever you're with. And I think sometimes Allure of the Seas was brilliant, because people were asking me questions and I was responding live. There was nothing that I actually sat and created. It was all live.
Yeah.
I preferred that, but I might do a bit of that, but I'm not going to put myself under any pressure. What I am looking forward to, though, I'm assuming we're doing this, saying that you've got to wind down, but then saying, are we filming a podcast live from the ship next week?
Next week from Disney?
Because I'm so excited for that if we get a chance.
I don't want to promise anything, just because Disney have given us quite not an aggressive, but they've given us quite a full schedule. And also, they're not giving us the premium Wi-Fi. They're giving us the standard Wi-Fi. So I'm not sure how much it's going to be. I haven't worked out how much it's going to be able to pay to film the podcast when we're on board. But also looking at it, because it's the Norwegian fjords as well, and the days where we're not in the fjords exploring, other days they've scheduled all the activities. So I don't know, like, compared to other fam trips where I've got like, they're like, you've got 3 days to yourself. It's not quite like this on this one. Disney being Disney are like, we want to make the most of your time on board. There's a lot of stuff. It's all fun stuff, but there's a lot scheduled in. Like, we're doing an animation class one morning type of thing. So it's fun stuff, don't get me wrong, but it's just, there's very limited free time on this trip.
That is, if I could have been anything else in my life, I'd have been an Imagineer. That would have been my...
I'd worked as well, yeah.
We'd have met no matter what, wouldn't we? We'd have just been putting Christmas decorations up in Paris or something together, but we would have met anyway.
Well, these things like then, because I thought about the stateroom tour, we're also getting an art of the ship tour as well. So someone from the ship is going to go around and guide us and teach us all like the artwork on board the ship and how the ship was designed and all that type of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, it's going to be a full on week type of thing. Plus, then also I was trying to fit in content, filming the ship, just enjoying the ship. We've booked this is a sidetrack, but talking about pre-cruise extras, this is what I'm terrified about next week. So I've booked Remy as well. So Remy is $135 per person. So we booked Remy, which is the top tiered restaurant. It's not Michelin star, but the chef who's created the menu is a multiple Michelin star chef. And there are 2 menus you can choose from 2 different Michelin starred chefs, even though the restaurant's not Michelin star. I don't understand. So we're doing that. We've never done it because it's so hard to get a reservation on, but we've been able to get one. But we're also doing Paolo as well, which is the other specialty restaurant, which is a bit of a step down. But it's still a lovely restaurant. We've done that one on our last cruise, but that's $50 per person per night. So I think we're already, plus then there's gratuity on top of that of 18% as well. So it's like, and there's no alcohol included. So we're dropping something like $300 on specialty meals on this cruise before we even do anything else on board the ship.
Oh, it'll be amazing though. I'm jealous. I want to just try the bars, the drinks, the food. I just really would like to try that. I think it's, even though, I don't know. I mean, my boys say they're over Disney. They say they're over Disney, and then when we go California next year, Joe wants to go to Disney, to go to Cars World. Yeah, so they're not as over it as they like to think.
No, we've done this episode about like, is Disney for adults? And I'm a firm believer of Disney is for adults. I have no qualms in saying that type of thing. Disney's a bit of a unique cruise line. We'll pick up all of this in the episode because we're bound to talk about it when I come off if we don't film when I'm on board. But I am so excited to get back on board. Disney was my first cruise, my first love. We did our honeymoon on board Disney, and I'm so excited. I am a little apprehensive, and I'm having conversations already with Phil about how easy it is to rack up a bill on board. Just because the last time we went on board, we spent a fortune on drinks, on merchandise, on activity classes and all this type of stuff. So I'm a little bit like, we're a bit worried about how much we're going to spend on this cruise. But
you only live once.
Carpet demons, as I say. You only live once.
So I suppose, because again, we've been here, there, everywhere and all over the place, around the houses, roundabouts, the wrong way and everything. But the things that you've got to think of factoring in, I suppose it's all been relevant, are your drinks package or your drinks. And even down to water and stuff like that. It's like, if you're on Royal Caribbean and P&O, it's easy to get water. NCL, not so much. There's only a few places. So you've got to factor that in. Is it in your drinks package? Do you have to upgrade your package? What are the levels of the packages? Dining. And do you know, I had this conversation with a friend the other day. She's like, why do specialty dining? But dining's fabulous. So you've got your free dining and there is so much. Or, because we're always chasing the experience, you have got specialty dining that you can do 1 or 2. And then you're looking at Wi-Fi and the shops, but Wi-Fi
shopping.
I mean, Wi-Fi is not always a big deal for everybody, but maybe for us, we put more of a stall.
This is where it's all very personal as well. Like, everyone's going to have different things they're going to need to do. We are very unique in the case of we're both content creators. We're both trying to promote the ships and the products, and we also want to experience it as well. So we are not the standard cruiser type of thing. There's a lot of things you could add on. Spa is another one we haven't talked about as well. So spa, if you're a big fan of spa and treatments and things like that, you can easily rack up a lot of money going to the spa, whether it's paying for a thermal pass, whether it's paying for treatments. Like, that's another thing to think about. There is a cost to that if you want to do it. Activities, each cruise line will vary, but Royal, zip line, rock climbing, all that type of stuff. I know they include it on some days, they don't on other days. There's all that type of thing to think about as well. NCL have a lot of extra charges for like their virtual reality and all that stuff.
It's all of that was included. The things that aren't included are the iFly and the
North Star.
North Star, they're the things that you pay extra for. You can pay extra for Flow Rider for private lessons, but other than that, it's free.
Yeah. On certain days, I mean, like if you want to do it like the longer classes, because North Star's free in port, isn't it? But not at sea.
Not at sea, yeah.
But it's things like that. So it's just, these are extra things. And again, it's not black and white. It's not an easy one to kind of look at and go, that's how much extra these things are going to be. So it's just to be aware of it, that pretty much every cruise, no matter which cruise line you go on, even Virgin, which pride themselves on including a lot up front, there are extra charges as well. Like, we did Grog Walk, which is the pub crawl. There's another Rose, which is the supper club show where you get a dining and cocktail experience. There are extra charge things you can do. Casino, if you're a big casino fan as well, that's an extra charge you have to think about as well.
Yeah, that's I never win either, so that's not good, is it? I lose $300 and then think I'm done. Bingo, it just gives me the ump. They go too slow.
I love it.
It's like, just get it over with. Just give me the numbers.
I'm like, I will do.
Oh,
every single card? Can I have every card, every chance of winning? And I'm sat there with like 15 cards going like, I'm lost. Slow down a bit. Next number.
no, I just find it the last Royal Caribbean cruise because my friend really wanted to do it, and I lost the will to live.
Did you?
Just
oh no, Virgin's was carnage, absolute carnage. Like, but they do it with the diva, the drag queen on board.
Oh,
so
right.
you're doing bingo, and you've got a drag queen. It's like chatting through the calling. So one person's calling the numbers, and the drag queen's like ad libbing while it's going on. And next time I'm like, I'm not going to pay for bingo. I'm just going to go in and sit and listen to the drag queen talking all the way through it. Like. But and I think that's the thing in it is don't be afraid, don't panic about these because a lot of this stuff is subjective, is personal. There are ways to save money as well. Like a lot of the cruise lines have packages that you can buy to reduce the cost of the whole thing type of thing. So, it's not one of those like it's a bad thing that there are hidden costs to cruising. It's just to kind of make sure you're aware of what potential hidden costs there could be depending on the cruise line. There's no way in an hour episode we can kind of give you every single extra cruise type of thing. These are just broad strokes of these are the type of things to look out for. Look for specialty restaurants, look for spas, look for drinks packages, look for kind of entertainments and activities, and just be aware of them, that there's a lot of value included in a cruise, but there's also, no matter which brand you go on, they will always find a way to generate extra revenue from you. So just be aware of that, I guess.
If you're struggling, if you're really stuck, then the one place you can reach us both and we can reply to comments is on YouTube. So head over to our YouTube channel. And obviously Kieran's an agent. I've cruised for years and years. So between us, we might be able to answer questions. So please do head over to YouTube and ask questions because we're more than happy to answer. And Kieran knows his stuff. And
if I don't,
I know a lot of useless information.
Between the two of us, we got you covered.
Yeah. So just ask because we're here to answer questions.
Yeah. Speaking of that as well, guys, if you are watching this on YouTube, definitely give us a subscribe and a follow as well. Give us a like and comment in the comments below. But equally, a bit of a sales pitch. If you're listening on Spotify, especially, or on Apple Podcast as well, just leave us a review, please. We don't get that many reviews, but we know the analytics of who's watching. We know we get watched quite a lot. So thank you for that. We do appreciate it. But just let us know if you're enjoying it. A review would be appreciated. A comment or two on Spotify. You can now comment on episodes as well. So it's just nice to see that every now and then, once in a blue moon, we get somebody saying like really enjoyed that, or one we had was I can't hear them properly. I was like, we put a lot of work into making sure that you can. So hopefully that's been fixed now as we've kind of been doing this for a while now. But yeah, we just love seeing comments that you're enjoying it or just what you've noticed or any questions you've got about cruising. We definitely love that as well. So thank you. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you are ever interested in sailing and you do want a hand in doing that, then definitely I would love to help you out. You can find me everywhere online under magical-traveler.com, or all my social media is magicaltrvlr. It'll be too late now because I would have been on Disney by the time this episode's come out, but I am going to China with Royal Caribbean before this comes out. So if you want to see what that's like, then definitely you could follow me. But yourself, Sarah, if the guys want to see what you get up to and find all your content, where's the best place to find you?
You can find us over on Mini Travellers, and we've got a YouTube channel which we have got cruise tips on and advice, cruise tips on the site. So I will drop the link below to how much I spent on my Royal Caribbean and my celebrity cruise, because it surprised me actually when you start adding all the extras up.
Yeah, definitely. Fab. All right, guys. Well, I hope you've enjoyed that, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.
Bye.